And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, July 9th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain, and many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryTV.com. And here are some of the news stories from the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Canadian communities are mourning the loss of one of their leaders, Andrew MixAmong, president of the Georgia Bay Native Friendship Center. Has died after being brutally beaten on Friday, July 6th, that night at the rear of a popular downtown restaurant. Two men have been arrested by the Midland Police Service, charged with one count each of a second-degree murder are Jesse Richard Harlicka, 26, and Paul Thomas McClung, 26, both of Midland, Ontario. According to relatives, the 59-year-old was on his way to meet his wife, Lorraine, an employee of Dino's Deli, when he observed two men harassing her. The men had reportedly asked for food and, when told the restaurant was closed, became angry, and one of them reportedly punched her. MixAmong went to her aid, and the pair attacked him. He later died in a Georgia Bay General Hospital. Described by many who knew him as a sweet gentleman, MixAmong was a first-degree Three Fires Medewan. A traditional service will be held on Christian Island. MixAmong is survived by his wife, 4 sisters, and 5 brothers. A wildfire that burned in New Mexico last year has left the Santa Clara Pueblo susceptible to flooding that could potentially wipe out about half of the community of 3,100. The Albuquerque Journal reports that the possibility of rain in drought-stricken New Mexico strikes fear in the hearts of people at the Pueblo. The fire burned 156,000 acres and threatened the Los Alamos National Laboratory, the nation's premier nuclear facility, last year. Parts of the Pueblo were evacuated twice last year, as well as a precaution against the possible onrush of water reaching the community. To safeguard the Pueblo last summer, more than 3,000 feet of concrete barriers and 30,000 sandbags had been set in place to stem the tide if one came. Fortunately, retaining ponds held and the disaster was averted. Nearly $31 million in FEMA funding has been allocated to the restoration project, but only about 10% of that amount has been made available so far. Sprinklers were in full swing recently as toddlers from the Cherokee Nation Child Development Center wallowed in the wet earth to observe International Mud Day. The center, which is located near the tribe's main complex in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, held a messy play session there June 29th for Mud Day. It encourages children to be healthier and get out and explore the outdoors. It was the second year the center celebrated the day geared toward connecting with nature, making the event an educational experience as well as a fun one. The first International Mud Day began in 2010 as a cultural exchange between children in Nepal and Australia. It is sponsored by the World Forum Foundation's Nature Action Collaborative for Children. The Eastern Band of Cherokee are angry at town officials in Franklin who sprayed an ancient Indian Mound with weed killer. The Asheville Citizens-Times reports that town aldermen are angry that the mayor offered a personal apology to the tribe after the board voted not to apologize. The trouble began in April when Franklin workers sprayed weed killer on the town-owned Nikwasi Mound. The plan was to replace the grass with a variety that doesn't need to be mowed as much, but the new grass didn't take, and now the mound is brown with a few weeds. Cherokee Principal Chief Michael Hicks called the action disgraceful. He says the tribe would love to get ownership of the mound back and would have gladly mowed the grass. Educators from around the country are spending the week in New Hampshire learning how to enhance their teaching of Native American history. The Gilder Lehrman Institute of American History, which is based in New York, is holding a week-long seminar starting this last Sunday at Dartmouth College. The seminar is being held by Dartmouth history professor Colin Calloway and will include K-12 teachers, library workers, and a lot of National Park Service interpreters who were selected to attend through a competitive process. The group will spend the week exploring Native American encounters, especially with the Lewis and Clark expedition, as well as broader aspects of Native American history. The 2012 Healing Circle Run Walk in northern Wisconsin is intended to be a prayer for healing. During the 2001 Healing Journey Run, participants thought of teaching on healing. For a nation to heal, it must begin with an individual. As a person heals, then that person can help heal his or her family. As a family begins to heal, they can help heal their community. As communities heal, they can help the nation heal, and as a nation heals, they can help Aki, or the earth, our plant and animal relatives, to heal as well. The 2012 Healing Circle Run Walk is an opportunity for people to come together to pray for healing for themselves, their families, their communities, their nation, Aki, and all their relatives. The 2010 Healing Circle Run Walk will occur from July 14th through the 20th, 2012. The Run Walk will connect 8 Ojibwe reservations in northern Wisconsin, Michigan, and Minnesota, starting at the Lakudere Ojibwe Reservation and ending back at LCO on July 20th on day 7. For more information, you can call 715-682-6619 and get all the information you need to participate in that if you want to. And that's going to be another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank you for joining with us and come back again soon.